Well, it's Friday the 17th of April. I mentioned Saturn in Aquarius a few weeks ago and said it was a good time to review contracts and bargains, but for the next week or so, Saturn will also report on the state of our closest one-on-one ties. So let's keep those virtual hangouts going and ring your friends. This is episode 2015 of 301 Permanently Moved to Online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited in 1 hour by me at the JMO. 3 more weeks of lockdown. Are we surprised? Not really. Only murderous fantasists hoped that it would all be over. I have the first week in June in the sweepstakes for Londoners, though I suspect the peripheries may emerge from their homes blinking into the summer sunlight sooner. We recently moved our dining table into the window in our living room, now part office space, part place to sit and enjoy the view. We have a square outside our window, rare down in these parts in deepest southwest London. We feel incredibly lucky to be able to pay the rent required to live here. With the table move, our observation of the social life of the square has intensified beyond the already high levels of dog surveillance. Right now, as I look up from my table, a teenage girl is practicing a TikTok dance whilst an excitable border terrier looks on with some confusion, but I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we must orient ourselves. Directly outside my window, across the road is the main part of the square, bounded by a rectangular path, approach from gates to the north, south and east of the square. 2 equally sized segments sit either side. To my left is the rose garden of equal size and is the more wild part of the square. To my right is a bit more formal, with benches in each corner. There is also the tree that blew over 4 or 5 years ago and has grown at an extreme diagonal ever since. The whole square is framed by black iron railings and shrubs of holly and smoke bushes, etc. Usually, throughout the year, the community brain holds events in the square, like the food festival, amongst others. At 12 o'clock, as I look across the square from where I sit, is the huge conifer, bare soil underneath from lack of light, compacted from the feet of hundreds of people who have sought shelter from the rain over the years. The central square, in non-lockdown times, is also used by the local infant school for sports. There are usually lines in the grass where they run backwards and forwards all year round, but not right now. At 2 o'clock is the bench known in this house as the Stoner Bench, and opposite it, at 3 o'clock to my right, is the Deliveroo Rider's Domain, a bench under a tree out of the rain. From our vantage point, we can classify some of the social animals of the square. There's the murder of crows who figuratively and literally rule the roost. They are the true owners of the park. The murder, waging constant and unending war, fought on 2 fronts. The first with the squirrels, most fat and slow from diving in the bins. The second with the parakeets from over the way. I've never seen one in the square, despite living here for 6 years. They sometimes come as close as the apple trees behind our garden in winter. But soon enough, a corvid vanguard will arrive to remove them from their empire. There's the humans, of course, all sorts. The man who sits on the bench in summer with a Sainsbury's bag for life at his feet. The early morning personal trainers. And then there's the runners just passing through. There's the returning cast of characters who make regular appearances. We've given them names, and I'm sure you would too. There's Yoga Lady, the guy we call the Strong Man. There's the Cool Neighbours, Skip's Leg Day, and Mr. and Mrs. Stroll. And so many, many more. In the late evenings in summer, the Stoner Bench still gets the sun, and it's usually populated by a group of cardinals that I'm convinced are trying to signal the election of a new pope. And then there are the dogs. So many dogs. The true highlight of the view from the window. They're all good boys, listener, but you already knew that. We have our own dog taxonomy here in this flat. First, there's the 3 sizes, puppers, doggos, and woofers. Then there's the active form of dog, the wagtails, the zoomers, the floofs, and the walkers. Frequently, our day will be interrupted by an exclamation from one of us at the window. "Oh my goodness, look at that zoomer!" Or we'll hear some balks from the park and one of us will look up and say, "I bet that's the shouty red spaniel." So let's meet some of these locals. There's the nice brindle staffy, there's the wolfhound, there's the pair of angry schnauzers, there's so many regular floofs, some are poms, some are shih tzus, and there's plenty of cockapoos. There's the chocolate lab, there's several huskies, and then there's the fox terrier, whose name we know to be Beryl. We see most of them every day. I couldn't tell you what their owners look like, maybe the colour of their raincoat in winter, but we do of course recognise the dogs. They are our neighbours. Sometimes all work will come to a halt in our flat, as we both stand to observe a staffy do a little wagtail and be extremely interested in a spaniel or some other floof playing in the park. Will they be friends? Will they go for zoomies? Have a play or not be too keen? The only way is to keep watching and find out. There are so many things that have social lives beyond us humans. It's why people watch the birds. Whilst you're in lockdown this week, Take a look out of the window and try to see what you can see.